smooches and deuces. What's up, guys? What's up? It's your girl, Tamika with a Y, coming to you from the newest and hottest podcast, the Tamika with a Y podcast show. Now, listen, before we even get started, I'm going to need you to go and do something for me. If you are not following me on all social media platforms, like, baby, what is you doing? I'm going to need you to go to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share, hit that follow, and make sure that you're tuned in because we got some really great things happening with the Tamika with a Y podcast show, as well as our sponsors, Iyanu Organics. So we definitely want to give a huge shout out to Iyanu Organics. We had a phenomenal time last week at the Memphis Expo, Entrepreneurial Expo. It was fantastic. So listen, make sure you're also following Iyanu Organics. And last but not least, Vibranium Media Group. Now listen, if you've already subscribed to the website, then you already know what's going on. If you have not subscribed to the website, make sure you run over to my website, www.imtimika.com, and subscribe. I had a really huge announcement that went out today. I'm already getting inbox messages. I'm already getting emails. Listen, if you're not subscribed, you missed a huge announcement. You definitely don't want to miss. So make sure you go and subscribe. Now, listen, y'all asked for it, and we are back with America's favorite entanglement and purpose coach, Dr. G. Hightower. Now, listen, last time he was on here, honey, he tore it up, okay? Tore it up. He tore it up, and I was just like, my life literally was changed after that call. And those who were a part of it, you all already know what's about to go down. You already know how we're going to do this, and you already know the fire and the anointing that is about to take over this podcast. We also have a phenomenal guest that's going to be also joining us. Her name is Miss Brenda, and she is the solutionist. Honey, she about to get us together. We are about to get our life. We don't need Iyana, baby. We got Dr. Hightower. We got Dr. Brenda on the line. And, baby, we're about to get our life together today, okay? So make sure you got your notebook, your ink pen. Make sure you're commenting. Make sure you're sharing. Go ahead on and post your name in the comment section so we know who all are part of the call on today. And, listen, go share it. Share. Listen, the first 3 people that share it, if you are a writer, you will get a free ticket to our upcoming from manuscript to masterpiece masterclass. So listen, the first 3 people that do it, you are going to get a free ticket to that class. Now, I have talked enough. It is time to get started. I'm about to bring in America's favorite entanglement coach. If you have an entanglement, you definitely want to be on this line today, okay? You don't cheat yourself. So let me go ahead on and bring in Dr. Hightower. What's up?
Good evening, Miss Tamika. Wow. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Wow. I'm looking around the room like, wow, who is she talking about? Oh my God. That's amazing. That fellow's pretty amazing. Oh my God.
It's pretty cool, right?
Indeed.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Hightower, again, it is always a pleasure having you on the podcast. And just, like I said, you came in and just shook the table when you was in the last one. Lives were changed, perspectives were changed. People, they really saw growth in their lives. Me personally, I can't talk for anybody else. I did get a lot of messages that came in the very next day. And so it is an honor to have you on the call on tonight. So thank you again. So listen, I am going to go ahead on and I'm going to lend the mic over to you because we have another guest that is joining us, and I'm going to let you introduce this wonderful sister.
Well, her name is Miss Brenda Warren, and she is known as the Solutionist. And she is a United States Marine Corps veteran. Shout out to all of our service personnel, men and women who are serving our country. Thank you so much. We honor you for your service. And Brenda has come out of the United States Marine Corps. And so she's an author. She is a business builder. She is an empowerment speaker. She's a teacher. And I like to call her a kingdom encourager as well. Yes. And so she'll be joining us in a few minutes. But yeah, you're going to enjoy her. She is somebody's teacher, and she also deals with trauma as well. She is a trauma counselor, trauma coach, really helping people walk through the broken places, really walking through the areas of your soul where you are not whole. And you know, Tamika, that is my passion as well, that I am all about helping people get their soul whole so they're ready for their soul mate. So
Yes.
you'll be joining us. Miss Brenda Warren will be dropping in and coming in and joining us in a few minutes.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Hightower, listen, you have already hit us with a nugget. Just like, we ain't even been on here for 2 minutes, Dr. Hightower. You already told us we got to get our souls together so we get our soul mate.
Yes, ma'am.
Because none
Absolutely.
of us, honey, we ain't marrying our soulmate. We out here marrying. I don't know what they marrying, but we
Listen,
gotta get it together.
listen. I mean, you know that piece right there, Miss Tamika, that people are literally choosing whoever and whatever. So I'm asking people, men and women, all over the country, literally all over the world, using various platforms. I'm interviewing people and say, you know what made, how are you defining what love is for you and who you want to spend your life with? And it's interesting because I have a whole assessment. I call it my real love assessment, and I share that with people, and it's absolutely free. So if you want it, I'll send it to you. All you got to do is send me your email address, and I'll email it to you. But what it is just 12 simple questions, Tamika, allowing people to see if they really are ready for love, right? It's
Mm.
to test your love readiness. And it's so interesting that one of the questions I ask people is, do you have a vision for love? And most
Wait a
people do not.
minute. Time out, Doctor. Hold up. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold up. What you mean a vision? Wait, you talking about because I know Mariah Carey sang the song "Vision of Love,"
Shout out
but
to
you,
Mariah.
Mariah, hey Mariah, call us, girl. But what do you mean a vision? Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me people need? Hold up. That's a lot right there. What do you mean vision of love? Like, is this something? What is it? Tell me
And
what
you,
is it?
well, okay, so Tamika, we have a vision for everything we do. We have a
Mm,
vision for how we want to set our, we got fitness goals, hashtag fitness goals, hashtag, weight loss, whatever, hashtag health and wellness. We have a vision for how we want to look, right? We have a vision for our business. And those of us who are really astute, we have a vision for our children, where I want my child to be by first grade, where I want my child to be by sixth grade. You have a
mm.
vision. We have a vision. We have a vision at work. Boom, you have a vision board. We've got a vision for everything, but we treat love aimlessly. We just flow in it and we just jump in without giving
Wow.
much consideration. Most of us jump in without prayer. I don't know how we do that, right? And so we're following after our heart. And usually, when people are following their heart, usually what they're doing, Tamika, they're usually pursuing what is pleasurable to them. They're choosing what
Ooh.
they prefer, but they are not choosing purpose.
Okay, hold on, Doctor. Wait, hold up. Wait, okay, all right. Wait.
I mean, think about it. Think about all of our sisters
Oh
who
my
say,
God.
I gotta have me a 6'6". He gotta be at least 6 feet tall. He gotta have a six pack, and he gotta make six figures. I'm
Six
like,
figures.
did it strike you as interesting that you want a 666? I mean, something doesn't click inside of your
It don't
mind
click.
that that's not a good thing.
It doesn't click, Dr. Hightower. Oh my God. Okay, all right. Wait, Dr. Hightower. Okay. Now I just have to share this to the other page. Okay, so Dr. Hightower, what you
Ma'am,
are saying, and that is so interesting that you said that because people do not have a vision for love. We have a
mhm,
concept of what it is that we want. We have preferences.
right.
We, don't want to. I don't want to. I want to break the generational curses, so we don't want to still follow in those same footsteps as our parents or our grandparents. But having a vision of love, that's something totally different. That is something that is so how do because we got so much to talk about on tonight.
Yes,
How do
ma'am.
you even where do you start with that?
So, having a vision for love is, first of all, becoming very clear about what I do want in a relationship. Most of
Mm,
us focus on what we do not want, right? So, if you talk to friends, they'll tell you about, girl, I know one thing. I don't want nobody like Elgin because he was broke, busted, and disgusted. And so, same thing with men, be like, man, can't be dealing with these gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't never
What's going on, bro?
So it's like, so they're talking about what they don't want. But it's like, okay, how about let's shift our focus and not focus on what we don't want, but let's focus on what we do want. And so if you ask the average person, what are you looking for in a life partner? I even make it a really broad general term, because if you say purpose partner to most, they're not going to understand that. Like, oh my God, that's a profound thing. Purpose partner? That's quite profound. Oh my God, I've never heard. I think I need to write that down. Yeah. Purpose partner, you said? So that, not really, not really having a clue. So what are you looking for in a life partner? Share with me some of the attributes. And most people will sit there and they're like, wow, I had never given that much thought. Exactly. So having a vision for love is being very clear about what you do want in the relationship. And that's actually number 2. Number 1 is, who are you? And do you add? What value will you add to this person's life? That's for both the men and the women, because of course men are looking at it as, well, she's going to be my helpmeet, so she's going to help me build this and help me build that, and we're going to build this great empire together. We're going to be a power couple, and all of that is surface stuff, bruh. But you have to get to the inward parts first. So who are you? What is your purpose? Because if you haven't identified your purpose yet, if you're not clear about what your life's vision is, you don't need any help yet. You might be looking for companionship, but you're not looking for purpose partnership, because purpose partnership, the woman who's going to be your wife, God's design for the woman who is a wife is to be a helpmeet. She is here to help you fulfill purpose, help you there to fulfill vision, help you to birth your dreams, visions, and ideas. And if you haven't become clear about that yet, my brother, then you just don't need any help yet. You might be lonely and you might be horny, but you're definitely not on the path of purpose yet.
Oh my, wait a minute, time out. So they want bandmates, but they don't know what purpose. Come on now.
Exactly. This is where many men are. And so you hear frustrating conversations from men, and they say, man, you can't trust none of these sisters. Man, I'm about to get me a passport. I'm about to go overseas and da, 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 da. Well, so then what you're saying then is that God is broke. And he ain't got no good marriage-minded women. He ain't got no beautiful, virtuous queens who would come and help you and serve you. No, what you want is a lack of accountability. So you would rather go marry a foreigner who won't know to ask certain questions, who will be so happy and thrilled that you brought her here to America. She's not going to hold you accountable. And that's really what men are trying to escape from. Men who are so quick to have passports and run overseas are trying to really escape accountability at the end of the day. And I understand, men, trust me, I got your back. I'm an equal opportunity teacher. I promise you, brothers, I understand. I've been through a painful divorce. I had a woman treat me like trash. I know what it's like, brothers. But there's no way in the world, out of 4 billion people here in America, there's no way in the world that God has run out of good women. And go ahead and address the elephant in the room, Tamika. God has not run out of good Black women who are marriage material.
Dr. Hightower, good God on today. Wait a minute now. Dr. Hightower, you know what? You didn't preach the whole sermon today. Lord have mercy. The folks, I don't know if they're happy about this, mad about it, or somewhere in between. You know what? I'm so happy that he said that, because a lot of women don't know how to verbalize what you said. And a lot of times when we do express our frustrations or our concerns, it comes across as the angry Black woman, or it comes across as she doesn't understand me, or she does, it's this. So we have not perfected the ability to convey what you just said. But I think it's something that we've always kind of, not even talked about, but thought. Because Black women, we have a whole nother life that we live. That we're
Talk about it.
constant, we're constantly, from corporate America to going to the grocery store to buying a car to getting your car fixed, and you're always dealing with, and not negating what anybody else deals with, but I'm a Black woman, so I can only speak from my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we want Black men. We want Black men as our mates. We want Black men as our husbands. We want Black men as, the fathers, our children's father. But there's a disconnect with us, with Black women and Black men. There's such a deep disconnect. And you have tapped into that. You have truly tapped into that. So thank you for sharing that piece of it, because I do think that that's something that a lot of women, we, again, like I said, we just don't know how to properly convey that.
So let's chop it up on that for a second, Miss Tamika. So how do you convey that? How do you convey your heart to a man and hold him accountable, um, without making him feel like his manhood is being challenged? Now
Oh,
that's
yeah.
art. That's the art of communication. So if we follow a simple biblical principle, Tamika, that is speaking the truth in love. So often
Mm,
when women are speaking to us as men, they're speaking from the place of frustration and not from the place of love. So when you speak from the place of frustration, the tone is going to be off, the timing is going to be off, just off. And watch this. You can be giving us the absolute right information, but saying it in the wrong manner. And so I have a whole workshop that I teach on that, Tamika, entitled Presentation is Everything.
mm,
That present something that matters.
yeah.
Men, how you present your need to have physical intimacy with your wife, how you present that to her, it matters.
Matters.
And if you're really going to approach her lovingly, it's not like, yeah, baby, can I get some cookies or what's up? We gonna get busy tonight or shit. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get busy or what's up? I mean, bruh, it starts earlier in the day. What I mean? It
Right.
begins with how you're communicating with her through the day. It takes you 10 seconds, 15 seconds to send her a loving text message.
Yeah.
Boom. It takes 10, 15 seconds for you to shoot her $40, $50 in a cash app and say, babe, hey, treat yourself to lunch today.
Come on, Cash App. Come
And so
on.
those things, those are the nice little breadcrumbs that you leave throughout the day that fills her emotional love tank up. And once you have filled her emotional love tank up, when she gets home, she gonna take care of you, big daddy. She gonna take care of you.
Come on now, Doctor. Listen, y'all got them. Go ahead on and send your wife a cash app, $40. All right, $50. Tell her
Send her 40,
lunch is on
$50.
you. Okay,
Lunch is
it
on me,
don't
baby.
take much.
Don't be going to Taco Hell. Uh, you know, you know, don't go to Taco Hell or Hell Taco or you know,
Right,
McDonald's is your kind of place. They serve you rattlesnakes. Don't go there. Go get you some real good food, boo. Go eat you a
right.
real good meal today on me. I got you.
Mm. But that's so interesting, Dr. Hightower, because a lot of times I don't think that it really doesn't take much, for women and even for men. A lot of times it's just those small gestures, those small, hey, love you, thinking about you. It doesn't take much. A lot of times, we, oh, I gotta go and buy $500 weave, or I gotta go to Jamaica. And no, it don't it doesn't take that much,
Right.
but I think that we haven't gotten to a place where we appreciate one another, and we have gotten past the concept of I was talking to my little brother. He said something. He said, I need to, he's dating right now. And
Oh,
he said, yeah, and he said, I need to see if she deserves this. And I looked at him for a moment and I said,
wow.
what does that mean? I said, if you love a person, I said, what you give to them, is that contingent upon what you feel they deserve? Or do you just love them?
Right.
And so I think a lot of times in relationships, we have that, are you deserving of this, or are you deserving of that? And that's part of that disconnect of how we communicate and even how we love. So can you speak to that a little bit, Dr. Hightower?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very much so. Um, the communication has to be the number one focus of how we build our relationship. So
Mm,
that begins all the way at the outset of the relationship, right? And that is building a level of trust and respect for each other. I
mm,
see Miss Erica Jackson has a question. I want to get to her question too.
okay.
But so the simplicity of communication is, I hear what your brother is saying. He's like, well, I don't want to give too much too quickly.
Right.
Well, when you think like that, you're going to always second guess yourself on whether or not I should extend love or not. Love has to be given freely. Now, of
Yeah.
course, we're trying to go out day one and buy $2,000 necklaces and all that. Some people drop money like that, but that's foolish because you haven't even gotten to know that person yet. So why are you buying these lavish gifts and all that kind of stuff? No,
Right.
get to know the person. The simplicity of getting to know each other really intimately on a really strong intellectual and emotional level. See if we bond on a spiritual level because
Yeah.
we can both be in the church but still have completely different core values regarding the things of God, right? It's
Yes.
denominational differences, we got cultural differences, we've got, how you were raised, I wasn't raised like that, and so you got to really get to know each other for real, on all of those levels. And I find,
Absolutely.
Tamika, when we take the time to do that, man, you got a strong bond of love. Those are the relationships that you see are happy for a long time because
Yes.
they the time to build the foundation. And it all
Yeah.
begins with communication.
Absolutely. Erica said, would that include speaking in each other's love language? The husbands can be physical and the wife can be quality time or acts of service.
That's a great question, Miss Erica. So the love languages piece, you definitely want to know that for sure. Um, Speaking to them with regards to the love language, I mean, you can definitely do that, but sometimes we don't have time to go through all of that. Like, I need to get down to the matter right here. I got to get to the matter at hand. So the rule of thumb, Erica, is speaking the truth in love. Just
Mm,
always remember speaking the truth in love. When you feel yourself getting hot and your blood is boiling and it's like, whoo, and you about to go off, you about to have a Queen Latifah moment and set it off. When you feel that, then this is the time where you got to kick back and take 3 deep breaths,
yes.
release them slowly, and do not speak.
Right.
Scripture tells us, Tamika, let us be swift to hear and slow to speak and
Right.
slow to wrath, right? So you want to take the time so that when you speak, because remember now, ladies and gentlemen, the goal of whatever we're saying to our partner is to be heard and understood.
Mm,
Off your chest. If you're just getting something off your chest, usually that's going to hurt the person you're speaking to.
right. Right.
So
That's
take time. How do I want to deliver this message? And then watch this. Here's the next level. Now, this is for the really mature people, Tamika. How would I want them to say this to me
ooh,
if the situation were reversed?
ooh. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't think that we a lot of times I okay, I for me, that's something that I've recently learned to do because I was one of those people where I'm going to tell you what's on my mind like zero filter, like whatever comes out, you just either catch it or walk away. But I've gotten to a place where it's like, okay, I'm learning, to ask myself that question. Like, okay, if I had an incident today and I was about to pop off, and I said, okay, I said, now, how I know what I want to say. So I typed out the whole thing of what I wanted to say. And then I went
Mhm.
back and said, okay, God, now how do you want me to say it? Right. Because I felt like I just needed to get it out, but I didn't hit send, and then I went back and God just kind of helped me figure that piece of it out. But
Yeah.
a lot of times when we're in the moment, we don't think about what that person feels or how that person feels. So how do we train ourselves to stay in that mind frame, even when we're at the peak of anger, or at the peak of frustration?
Oh, great question, Tamika. Great question. 30-second prayer. 30 seconds.
Mm,
Lord, you know how I'm feeling right now. But God, I ask that you would give me the fruit of the Spirit so that I don't operate in the flesh.
Ooh.
I don't want to speak with anger and hatred toward my partner because I love my partner. So, God, since you are love, speak through me. Give me loving words to speak to my partner so that I don't hurt them, but we still
Mhm.
solve the problem. Thank you for your wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wow. Simple prayer. And
And
by the
then
time
just
you
wait.
finish praying,
Take a second and wait though. Don't just go, okay, now let me go in here. Take a minute. Take a minute. Take
right?
a couple of deep breaths. Because in this, watch this, in these 15 to 20 seconds, while you take a couple of deep breaths and you just wait, boom, Holy Spirit is going to give you download.
Yes.
Okay, don't say it like that. Say it like this.
Right.
Because the immediate reaction is, okay, so I just want to talk to you about this. You never take out the trash on time. You always just let the trash pile up until it touched the ceiling. Flies and maggots done came up in the house. We got roaches that's coming up in the house trying to answer the door, talking about, hey, what's up? I mean, really, what's going on? Like, you always do that. And so when we use those kind of words, it's
Yeah.
already damaging.
Wow.
Already damaging. And the other person is going to begin to shut down.
Yeah.
Because the first thing they're thinking in their mind, no, I don't always do that. And I do sometimes. It's not never, it's not always, but we use those words when we're angry.
Yeah.
And
And I
so now you're not going to get your goals accomplished.
exactly. My mom used to teach me because again, I was that child that just said whatever. And my mom used to teach me, so you have to clean your words with honey. I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm like, oh, okay then. So I'm thinking, well, after I finish cussing you out, I'm gonna say I'm sorry, or after I finish popping off, it's like I'm sorry. I'm sorry you felt that way.
Right, right,
But it's
right, right.
like now I'm learning that you can get your point across without
Yes,
being aggressive,
yes,
without belittling or making the other person feel less than, in a partnership, in a relationship, it's about grace. I'm learning that it's about giving each other grace, and the grace that I want to feel is the same grace I should extend, even in those heated moments or in those moments where we may not be on the same page. Miss Gloria said, she said, at least you admit what you have to work on. Some don't. That is true. That is true. And then Miss Brenda, she said, there is power in the pause.
yes, indeed. There's power in that
Absolutely.
pause. I've learned to literally, and you have to become comfortable with the pause because the pause, there's just silence.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're in the presence of people, people are looking at you, okay, were you gonna say something? What? And they'll try to rush you. And
Yeah.
then if you feel rushed, you're gonna go right back to pop off mode. See, you was just getting in the spirit
Right
chit
there.
chat.
Right there.
But see, now they're pushing you. It's like, okay, uh, okay, hurry up and get to the point. I mean, were you gonna say something or what? You're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something, and then next thing you know, I'm going back to pop off mode. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm about to get Lecrae on you. I'm coming in hot,
Coming in hot.
coming
Hey.
in hot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So no, we don't want to come in hot because that's always going to lead to a blow up. It's not going to get us to. It's not going to get us to our goal. And what is the goal? That we can have peaceful conversation, even if we disagree. It's okay. We ain't never going to see things the same way. The
That's
goal is, can we peacefully disagree and not become
mm,
disagreeable? And then let me go ahead and keep it real, Tamika. Can we peacefully disagree, respect each other's opinion so that we have some bedroom ministry after we get through having all this conversation?
that part. That
Uh,
part right there. That
Because
part.
once we put those words out there that you can't take back, it don't
Right.
matter that you said sorry. You
Yeah.
jacked me up. You jacked me up. You pulled out your sword and went, wow, 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 went did a Zorro on me. So now I'm over here bleeding and you talking about, okay, baby,
Mm.
so you all right? No, I ain't all right.
You want something to eat?
You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I ain't all right. You can't feel that blood coming out my back. And
Right.
yep.
They were like, I'm sorry you felt that way, or I'm sorry if I offended you, you
That
know.
old fake church apology. Well, if
Right.
I offended you, I got a whole kidney coming out because you just cut me. And you talking about, well,
Right.
if I
If.
cut you, if I cut you, I ain't
Right.
saying I did. I ain't saying I did. But if when I did, please forgive me.
Please forgive me. God knows my heart.
God knows my heart. See, you can't judge me. See, that's what you can't do. You
Right.
ain't God. You can't judge, and now it becomes a whole thing.
Yep.
And the other person is sitting there saying, hamburger. I mean, what?
Right.
I can't even get us to a place of peaceful resolution, right? So yeah,
Wow.
I like that, Miss Brenda. There's power in the pause. Can we get Miss Brenda to come into the studio?
Yes, I was just about to tell you. Go ahead on. I'm about to bring Miss Brenda on. Miss Brenda, hold on. Let me go ahead and add you in.
I did
There,
send her the link.
there we go.
Hi, how are y'all? I'm
Hey,
taking so many notes. I'm excited to be here with y'all.
Yes, yes. Please introduce yourself. I know Dr. Hightower, oh my goodness, he has so many great things to say about you. So please introduce yourself for those that have not had a chance to meet you.
I am Brenda Warren. I am known as the solutionist. I help people close the gap between their desires and their reality because life is too short to live in the negative and not take every opportunity to live your best life now. What is now no opportunity wasted.
Oh, say that one more time. Wait, now where there's no opportunity wasted.
Now is no opportunity wasted.
I should
Wow.
have told you, Tamika. Brenda is the queen of the acronym.
Listen, because I'm like,
You know,
okay, do I write it down? Do I
part of
type
that
it
is
up?
her anointing. Part of it her anointing, and part of it is her military training. In
Yes,
military, they got an acronym for everything.
For
You know what I mean?
everything.
exactly.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's not restroom or men's room or women. It's latrine. It's like, okay,
Mm.
what does latrine stand for?
Right,
LATRI. I mean, it's gonna be
right.
an acronym for something. You know.
That is so awesome. Miss Brenda, thank you so much for joining us. Gotta give a huge shout out. Okay, so we got, oh my goodness, hey everybody, we got Crystal, my sister. Thank you for joining. We got Miss Michelle, Miss Valerie, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Gloria. Who am I missing? Erica, Miss Gwendolyn Rouse. Thank you guys for logging in. Listen, if you have questions, please post your questions in the comment section. We definitely want to be able to get to your questions. But back to Miss Brenda and Dr. Hightower. We're talking about Miss Brenda is a solutionist, and
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hightower is a entanglement and purpose coach. Whoo, honey, that bite. Listen, I think we're gonna have a revival on here tonight. All right, so
Let's get it. Let's get
so
it.
Miss Brenda, I know you've been in the green room. If you kind of heard some of the conversations that we've been
Yes.
having about relationships and people coming out of entanglements and people finding purpose and things like that. You are a solutionist. So
Yes.
please tell us, for those of us, because we've been going back and forth about how we show grace to one another, how we communicate with one another, our love languages. How do a solutionist come into all of this and help us get our life together? Because that's why we're here. We're trying to get our life together.
I love when the young lady asked about the love languages because a lot of the things I do, I personally base it on that because I think it's important for us to know each other's love language so that we're not speaking Greek when we should be speaking Spanish or English or
Oh,
whatever language it is that you speak. And the reason why I think it's so important because most women fail to realize that not all, because I don't deal in absolutes, but I will say many men's first love language is physical touch. And when we neglect to understand that, and some Christian women are telling their husbands, "Oh, that's the devil," or "Why you always chasing me?" when they should be running towards it. That's a problem because what they're doing is leaving room for them side chicks, but that's a whole other
oh,
program. So they
keep going.
got
No, we got time. Keep going. Keep going.
so we got to understand that men, even though when they take the test, a lot of them will say, "No, that's not mine." But I've come to understand that a man's need for respect, if a woman doesn't understand that, to what Dr. Hightower was talking about how we say things. Most women, if they actually take the time to study their man, they know how to get what they want, even the bad ones. Because the reality is, you get to check the temperature in a room. Now, I know if I wear a certain dress, I'm gonna get whatever I want. I know
Yes.
if I say it just right. So we know the difference between acting a fool and getting what we want when we need to. And that's not manipulation. That's understanding your man. We will study our work assignments. We will study all this stuff over here, but we're not studying our men the way we should. Because if we did study our men enough to know their love language, not ours. Now, it's important we know our own. But why do you want to know your partner's love language? Because it does no good to be in a relationship with a man whose number one love language is physical touch, and you always buying him gifts.
Oh my God.
See, I'm the kind of woman, if a man is going to go and say, oh, Brenda, I need this here, and their love language is gifts, say that's because, remember, we often give love the way we want love, but that may not be what the other person needs or wants to receive. I was in a relationship with a man that's number one love language for him was gifts. Physical touch was second for him. He liked surprises. I didn't understand that until halfway between our relationship. I couldn't understand why we were always bumping heads. He was always giving me gifts, which I didn't like it. Mine was acts of service. So a gift meant nothing to me. He mop a floor, baby, it's on and popping, okay? That's a sexual aphrodisiac to me. Mop a floor. Take out the floor. You gonna get anything you want, but you buy me a gift, I want to look at you like you crazy. So it's important to know what your particular partner desires, wants, and needs. And there's a difference between desire, there's a difference between a want, and there's a difference between a need.
Oh, wait,
so we have to know all of those.
Wait a minute. Time out. Wait a minute. Okay,
you gotta slow her down, Tamika, because she will run and be dropping bombs up in here.
What? Okay, wait a minute, Dr. Brenda. Okay, you said there's a difference between wants, needs, and desires.
Absolutely.
Help us.
See, when we begin to understand that our men want us to make love to them, okay, that's a want. They want us to make love to us, but they also need us to, because it's a physical thing for a man. We get that part. But then they desire us to make love in a certain way. Like some men like high heels and lingerie. Other brothers get turned on by a t-shirt. It does you no good to buy everything in Victoria's Secret if your man simply wants you to put on his t-shirt and walk around.
Right.
Okay? So you need to know what is his sexual fingerprint so that you can make sure you're matching that and not putting something else on there.
Miss Brenda, can I interrupt real quick, Miss Brenda?
Yes, please do.
Please do not forget the ministry of the sundress.
Yeah. Oh yes. Now there's Dr. Hightower likes sundresses, but there's some brothers don't like sundresses.
Right.
You gotta know.
I personally don't
ministry for some, okay?
I don't know any. I don't know any black man that don't like a
Dr. Hightower said, y'all better bless them with them sundresses.
I'm just saying.
Let me go buy my Tracy.
I know some guys that sundresses ain't what it does for them. But the key is, again,
she must not got no yams. Okay,
you gotta know what that man likes. Okay, and when I talk about
yams,
when you talk about the wants, needs, and desires, you know, it's that thing where we as women, we often fail to determine what it is our particular man wants. And ladies, here's the thing. I got to say this, and if I don't get a chance to say nothing else. If you are a married woman, legally married, you have a license to screw. Can we say that on your show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So stop acting like Mother Teresa. You done been out there in the streets doing everything you big enough, swinging through chandeliers. Then you get married and forget how to drop it like it's hot. Y'all need to take some lessons from some of these girls out here that's doing it big and doing it right, that ain't got no business doing it. And understand that the marriage bed is undefiled. Yes. And you need to begin to research what each other likes. I'm not talking about no beating or whatever, but if that's what you're into, I ain't mad at you.
Yep.
But make sure you have a partner that is willing to go where you want to go. And don't find that out on your wedding night. You should have that conversation before you get married, because there's nothing more frustrating than to be sexually mismatched, just as there is to be spiritually mismatched, emotionally mismatched, financially mismatched, and just mismatched in general.
It's just all the way messed up.
It's just wrong.
Lord have mercy.
I want to ask you, Brenda, I want to kind of switch reels with mental health. Mental health is like, we're dealing with mental health crises everywhere. I found out late that September is Suicide Awareness Month. I found that out late. I don't know how that got by me, but I'm well aware of it now. Interestingly, I've had several men reach out to me who are struggling with suicide, and I didn't even understand that. So I'm wondering, Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this question, Brenda.
Mhm.
How do we help people who are dealing with mental health issues, emotional brokenness, all the issues you and I talk about, the issues of the soul, right?
Mhm.
How do you help people who are dealing with trauma, PTSD? How do you help walk people through that so they can be prepared for a healthy relationship?
I think the first thing is to acknowledge that you have a mental health issue. Because oftentimes we don't, especially we're being single and being diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and military sexual trauma. A man that would be in a relationship with me would have to be able to deal with, number one, my diagnosis. So I don't hide it. There was a time in my life when I dealt with a lot of schmilt. And for those that don't know what schmilt is, that's shame and guilt. Shame is you are bad. Guilt is you did something bad. And I would combine the two of those things into schmilt. And I would be fearful of telling someone about my mental health struggles.
Hmm.
As a suicide attempt survivor and a person that has dealt with the battle of depression and mental health, I now make it clear to anyone that wants to be in a relationship with me that I've had these struggles and how I work through them now. So number one is acknowledgement. Then
Yes.
the second thing is to make sure that if you're going to get a relationship with someone like me, is that chick in counseling? Because some of us can be a little cray. See, there was a time I wasn't in counseling. So I was toxic on every level. Not
Yeah.
intentionally, but see, I did not know that I had a problem until I was diagnosed. I just knew, let's just say this. My ex-husband used to call me Sybil. Y'all get the idea? See, I can be open and honest about it now because he never knew what or who he was going to get. I changed my personality as often as I changed my hairstyle back then, and I changed my hairstyle every week. So if you cannot deal with a Sybil, I probably would not have been the woman you wanted to be in a relationship with. Okay. So you have to know yourself, and also don't take for granted because we look good and smell better that we all there. That's why it's important when you date that you gather data and you get the time to take the time to know someone, because we all send our representative in the beginning. You know, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm smelling better, and I'm saying all the right things, doing all the right things. But catch me on a bad day when I haven't had some sleep or my medication, baby.
Oh,
Let's keep it real. Because sometimes I
whole
need
new
Jesus and medication. But we don't, oftentimes people don't want to hear that. They go, did she just say she needs Jesus and medication? Yes, I said it. I'm being honest. Because
Yes.
see, if we would tell the truth, we could then
come on now.
healthiness that would allow us to be in a relationship with the right man, because the right man would be able to handle me in all my personalities.
Yes.
See?
Absolutely.
And
So,
we need to be able to have those, what do you call it, scary conversations.
Yes.
And here's the thing, and if a person says they can't deal with that, doesn't make them wrong. It just means they're not a match. They're not aligned with what I need in my life or in their life, possibly.
Wow.
so let me ask you this, Brenda. When we're talking about emotional trauma, we're talking about moving through the conversations. You say scary conversation. I just say uncomfortable, because to me, if we are loving each other, there should be nothing scary. The conversation that we should have, but in those conversations, Brenda, how do we get to a place? I know the first step you said is acknowledgement. Absolutely, I agree 1,000%. But now, how do you help a person that you love and they are in love with you and we are in a committed relationship? Let's just use the parameters of that we've been together 6 7 months, right?
Okay.
And we've been really taking the time to build this relationship. We've met each other's families. We're in an exclusive relationship, and we're prayerfully moving a relationship toward marriage. But suddenly you find that certain words, certain actions trigger this person, and you find yourself in a place where you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them so that you won't trigger them. How do you get to a place of resolve with that person?
Well, before I answer, let me just go back to the scary part. I know you say, I often hear people say have uncomfortable or carefrontations. I've heard that term before.
Yeah,
We're not
careful.
say scary because it is terrifying often for most people, not everybody, but for a lot of people, to tell someone that they've had a mental issue or to tell someone that they may be triggered by something. Because remember, we're getting to know each other. We may not be 6 months in yet. I'm
Hmm.
still trying to determine, can I trust you with the real me? So that's a scary
Mm.
conversation until you've now
Yeah.
proven I can trust you with who I really am. Now we done got past the first initial trust, and you say, "Okay, Brenda, I know you got a little something in your background, and we're 6 months into this. I'm loving you, you loving me, but there was something that I failed to mention, and now I'm triggered, and you're feeling like, how do I address this?" It goes right back to the first thing. Acknowledge that the trigger happened,
Yeah.
and then the two of you have to come to an understanding of how, when that trigger happens, how it can either be avoided or how we deal with it. For me, I have safe words. Anybody in relationship with me, not just a
Romantic relationship.
romantic relationship, but my friends know my safe words.
Right.
People
Amen.
that are really in my inner circle, they know the words that I will say that tells them I've just hit a place of being triggered, or I'm in pain, or I need, and my words will tell somebody I just need to vent. So I don't need you to fix it, because men want to fix it.
Right.
So I just need to vent, or I need you to fix it, or get me some help,
Mm.
or let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because when you're learning each other and you're building the sense of trust and understanding, you have to get to a place where when something comes up, and I will say this, you need to establish it before it comes up. We
Right.
don't want to know how to work the fire extinguisher when the house on fire. We want to train before that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we can come to an understanding of how do we deal with conflict, those are conversations that aren't often happening, because everybody expects everything to be lovey-dovey.
Right.
You said before about being agreeable. I often say, can we agree to disagree without being disagreeable?
Mm-hmm.
And I have conversations up front in the beginning. How do you handle conflict? And how would you like to handle conflict with me when we get there? Not if, I said when, because
When.
there will be a time
Yeah.
when we won't agree on something. Are we going to get to a place like in poker, deal or take all pushes? What do we do? So if we can have those conversations before it becomes a problem, I believe that can mitigate any hurt feelings, in the sense of that's
Yeah.
if we play by the rules we've established. Because sometimes you can
Mm.
work with a person and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I agree to this," but then when the situation happens, they change the rules.
Right.
So that also goes back to, can I really trust you? I try to create
Yeah.
safe environments when I have conversations, even with my clients, letting them know that this is a judgment-free zone,
Right.
that I'm going to listen without judgment, that I'm not going to throw anything back up in your face. We're going to treat it like Vegas. What's said here stays here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to show unconditional love, because
Let me
it's
speak on
important to
this
do
issue.
that.
That's
Let me speak to the issue really quick, Tamika, about trust. Because Dr. Gloria dropped in the chat, share trigger issues early. I don't believe in that, because, and this is most of us men, we don't believe in that. Ladies, we know that's what we want us to do. Let me tell you why we don't do it. Because Brenda, you hit the nail on the head. Can I trust you with the authentic me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust you yet.
Absolutely.
I am willing to trust you in terms of sharing space with you and spending time with you, but I don't know if I can trust you with my heart. So women are asking men, Tamika, Miss Brenda, they're asking men, be vulnerable with me. If you really love me, you'll be vulnerable.
Mm.
Most men don't know how to be vulnerable because we've never been taught that that's a safe thing to do. We were always taught real men don't cry. We were always taught shut up and man up. Don't be coming crying, boy. Don't be acting like no sissy. That's what we were taught, and it's ingrained in us. So what you can't do is ask us to undo or unlearn 40 years of what's been ingrained in us and then say, I want you to have a new set of behaviors with me, and I want you to just trust me. No, trust has to happen over time. So then how do we establish the trust? We establish the trust, Brenda, Miss Tamika. We establish the trust by having open conversations. I'm not bringing you the things that are triggering me yet. I just want to know, because Brenda, I love what you said about having safe words and then identifying the 3 levels of confrontational conversation. Those 3 levels. So level number 1, hey, I don't want you to quote a scripture. I don't want you to lay hands on me.
Right.
Down on the floor. I just need to vent.
Yeah.
Level 1. Level 2, I am interested in hearing your heart. After I share what I share, I am interested in hearing your heart and getting some thoughts. Level 3, hamburger. I need some help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I trust you enough to be able to help me with what I go through. I definitely want to hear your heart, but at the same time, I need some professional help, or we
Yeah.
need some professional help, right?
Yeah.
And so those pieces are important. And I really want all of our sisters to hear this from the male perspective, because oftentimes women, we feel the same way, Brenda, that women are trying to fix us instead
Mm.
instead of listening to us.
That's
So
And I
once
think
interesting.
right there, you
knows,
said that
once a
when I
man knows
said that,
that he can trust you with his heart, he'll give you everything. But
Yeah.
first, he has to know that he can trust you with his heart, Brenda.
Wow.
I just want to say, I said that in reference to your previous statement of that we are 6 to 7 months into this, because I can tell you, as someone with major trust issues, I'm not giving a man I just met my safe words, because you have not established that trust has to be earned, just like what you said. So I'm talking down the road there. This is not like on the first date, you know what I'm saying? Well, here, it's the first date. I had PTSD, la, 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 la. I'm not having that
Right,
conversation.
exactly.
But with
Yeah.
a man, I'm saying if I'm feeling like I'm going to be spending some real time with a man and we've had some, there comes a point when I want to say right here, because I want to know before my heart gets in it. There are some people, I had one guy literally say to me, we're a month into this, and when he found out I had PTSD because of a prior relationship, he burnt the road. I'm not dealing with no crazy chicks.
Right.
That's not what PTSD is.
Wow.
But it was good to know that before my heart got in it, but I felt we were going that way, so it was time to have that conversation. So
Yeah.
yes, I believe trust has to be earned, and I'm so glad you brought up the fact that men don't roll that way, because a lot
Mm.
of times we get offended because they're not being vulnerable. And we're, like you said, from the beginning you're taught boys don't cry, boys don't, boys don't, boys don't. But then at the same time, we're taught the same thing. Don't do this, don't do that. So
Yeah.
we're the battle of the don'ts.
Yeah.
We move past it.
Right. Well,
Wow.
just on the emotional level, though, just on the emotional level alone, it's just different. It's vastly
Mhm.
different. So, Brenda, you are dropping some serious gems in here. Tell us about, and let me pause and let me get out the way, because this is Tamika's show. Tamika, let me shut up and let me let you ask our guests a couple of questions. I'm gonna zip my lip and turn your show back over to you.
Listen. I was just sitting here enjoying it. I'm about to sip my smoothie and let y'all talk. But I did have a question though,
Okay.
Miss Brenda. I
Mhm.
know when I first got into my husband, his name is Tracy. He's probably watching. But when I first got
What's up, Mr.
into
Tracy?
Yeah,
yeah,
Tracy.
when I first got into the relationship with him, I had come, not just because it wasn't like it was the next day, it was like a year and a half or something, but I had come out of a very troubling, marriage. I was married before. And it was difficult for me. And I would always tell myself, I like Tracy, I love Tracy, but I don't think I have the capacity to give him everything as far as fully loving him. And I think a lot of it had to do with because I didn't know if I was worthy of it, coming out of a really bad relationship, verbally, mentally abusive. And I just did not know. So it was, I knew I loved him. I knew I wanted to be with him, but it was a piece of me that was like, I just didn't, like I said, I didn't feel like I had the capacity to just fully, love him completely and even be completely authentic, and be the real version of me. So I would always, okay, what do you want me to be? How do you want me to be? How do you want me to talk? How do you want me to operate? And you know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
really understand the importance of going into it authentically. And it took me a while to get to the place where I'm like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is me completely all day long, and I'm comfortable with it. But for people that have come out of, tumultuous relationships that are having, an issue with understanding the importance of, or not even understanding the importance of just simply being authentic, feeling
Mhm.
like they are worthy of love again, feeling like, that they can give, real love and experience real love. If you could give us some information on how to get to that place.
Oh yeah. That's my jam, because after 23 years of marriage, in a marriage that was not very good for me, I had to get to a place in myself where I had to recognize it was a definite decision that I had to make to love like there was no heartbreak. And so to do that, I had to tap into the behavior of belief. See, as long as I believe that I don't have the capacity to love, as long as I believe I can't give the next man, the last man, the love that he deserves, it won't happen. When I say tap in, the first thing that I tell women to do is, number one, transform your mindset. That's part of the tap in process that I teach. You have to begin to believe that loving like there's no heartbreak is even possible, because our actions are dictated by our beliefs.
Yeah.
Then you have to make an announcement and get some accountability around what it is you want. I want a love of a lifetime that allows me to fully express everything that's in me to a man that I have said is worthy of receiving that love from me.
Ooh,
And
wait,
not hold back. Take nothing from your ex to your next. Okay? And then I want you to prepare. And the way you prepare is by getting coached by the entanglement coach, or Focus of Love, or different people that have died in which there's so many amazing coaches out here. But I'm kind of biased to the entanglement coach right now. You got to get some coaching that's going to allow you to take the braces off your brains and begin to behave in a manner that you say you want to do. So you got to prepare yourself. Read books on the love languages, read books on sexuality, read books on mindset that will shift your thinking, because we got to get rid of the bad thinking. Then the part of the tap in, you have to imagine what your life could be like when you fully give yourself to that man that you say, this is the man I want to live my life with. See, there was a time when I wanted to be with a man that I couldn't live without. I don't want that anymore. I want to be with the man that I can live in harmony with.
Yes.
Okay. The one that I can help to nurture and be the best version of himself. Not complete, but complement. So you have to imagine, what would that look like for you to freely love like there's no heartbreak? You don't let nobody from your past get in this place here, because he is so important to you, so special to you. And you want to give him the best that is possible that God says you're supposed to have, because you can't have abundant life and abundant love and real love when you're holding on to what used to be there. Okay. You gotta let it go. You have to and I know people say that you can't. I'll tell you how you can let it go in a minute. Then the last thing you do in the tap-in method is you nurture all of that. You nurture that with a fierceness. You let nobody take it from you. I have this little thing here I call, here's my little purple guy. This was how I got deliverance from preserving the pain on my past. I was told to carry this little thing around for 24 hours. And I carried around. I couldn't put it down no matter what I did. I had to hold on to it. And I did. Up until about 11 o'clock at night, I had to wash some dishes. I was so pissed off, I sat it down. And when I sat it down, I went to put my hands in the water and I got my aha moment. I had the ability to set this thing down anytime I wanted to. Now, see, it didn't make him go away. It didn't mean he didn't exist, or that he didn't happen, or that I didn't hold him all day long. What it did mean is that I have the choice. I can choose to love like there's no heartbreak, or I can keep holding on to that man that meant nothing to me, that treated me bad and did all this stuff, making him part of my highlight reel that doesn't need to be there. Or I could put him on the side, let him go about his business, and love this man now the way God designed me to love. Because I'm designed for pleasure and designed for a purpose. And that man, this new man that's loving me right, has no reason to pay for the crimes of the man before. Wait. Tap into that.
Oh my God. Wait, did you just say highlight? Oh my God.
That's exactly
Lord.
Brenda. I love that. Brenda, tell everybody how they can find you, how they can connect with you. Yes. Where can we find Miss Brenda?
I am everywhere as Brenda the Soul. That's SOUL, Lutionist. Yes. And on Instagram, on Facebook, and BrendaTheSolutionist.com.
Yes, Miss Brenda. Okay, all right. Lord have mercy. Okay, because y'all are giving us some nuggets today, and I don't have my ink. Hey, my sister Kiki. Hey, Kiki. That's Paisley Mama. She just had a baby.
Paisley Mama.
Yes, that's Paisley Mama. But okay. Lord. All right. So, Dr. Hightower, you're gonna have to
Yes,
help
ma'am.
me because I'm just like I'm trying to soak it all in. Oh my God. So, Miss Brenda,
Mm-hmm.
what you are saying is that in order for us, that is such a beautiful analogy. I never even would have even put that together. We are holding on to things that we could have been let go of.
Been let go of.
We're literally carrying baggage that
Mm-hmm.
we were never meant to carry, that we were never supposed to carry, and we are willingly carrying this,
Willingly
not even
carrying.
realizing
Mm-hmm.
how easy it is to just simply let it go.
Let it go.
My God,
And you do
today.
yourself a disservice by holding on to someone that should not be living in your brain rent free in the first place. I mean,
Absolutely.
why would you carry that hurt you, that disrespects you, that discounted you, when
Mm,
you have in front of you a man that wants to love you, cherish you, honor you, and make you his very own?
Absolutely.
how many times do we mess that up?
Oh,
How
lots of
many?
times, because we don't have these conversations about the
Right.
importance of living in the now. No
Mm,
opportunity wasted. Why would you waste an opportunity to love Tracy for real, for real? And never
right.
think of, because to me, there's once you say I do to that man right there is no other man before him. They don't
Right.
count. It's like covered in the blood. Who? No, I'm Mrs. This. This is
Yeah.
who I am. So if that's who I am, then my behavior, which is my belief that I am this man's wife. You
Right.
know, I said, this man?
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Doesn't this man deserve everything?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Okay,
that
Dr.
ain't gonna do it.
Hightower.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh my God. Y'all are tag teaming this one. Okay, so Dr. Hightower, coming from an entanglement side of it,
Mhm.
when it comes down to those types of relationships, because last time you were on, we talked about how entanglements are beyond just relationships. Sometimes we're entangled with our past, we're entangled with our trauma. So for people that are in relationships that are struggling, like Miss Brenda just said, just to be able to fully give, fully love, to fully sit in and be confident in knowing this is my husband, this is my wife, this is the person I'm choosing to live my life with, this is the person I'm choosing as a life partner, purpose partner. How do we untangle that entanglement in those types of relationships, or in those in not even relationships, but even in those internal struggles or those internal challenges that we have?
Mhm. So the internal struggles are really, I mean, they can be entanglements too, especially depending on the severity of it. But really, what we're dealing with just from the beginning is we're really dealing with soul wounds, which is an area where Miss Brenda specializes in. And this is my passion, my drive to help people who are dealing with soul wounds. So, what does a soul wound look like? People who are really hurting and are dealing with a high level of fear regarding rejection, abandonment, betrayal. And those are the top three. And there are many others. But when a person is dealing with that and they're harboring that hurt and that resentment on the inside, then there's always going to be outbursts of anger when we engage in conversations. So how do you handle that? If it's you, if you're the person and you're dealing with that, Brenda hit it off at just a few minutes ago, that first of all, I got to acknowledge this is what I do. And
Yeah.
I'm like this because now what has happened, because you've been carrying this way, functioning this way, although it's dysfunctional, but you've been functioning within dysfunction for
Ooh.
years. So now there's a stronghold in your
Mm.
mind. And so here's the response that people will give you when you confront them, even in love, even gently. They'll say, well, that's just how I am.
Mm.
But Brenda just gave us a beautiful example. You can set that down.
Mhm.
That doesn't have to be who you are, because it's
Wow.
really not who you are. That's just how you've been flowing because you
Operation.
haven't learned a better way. So it's
Ooh.
really, and I want to say this to all my sisters, Miss Tamika, ladies, please understand you can't change us as men
Mhm.
no more than we can change you as women. Women cannot change men. I think there's this beautiful inherent nature of a woman that's nurturing and loving. And so she wants to shower that man with love. And she feels like if I keep dressing him about this and if I love him right, he'll change.
Mhm.
Mm.
No amount of love you give him, no amount
Mhm.
of cooking, cleaning, or whatever wonderful acts of service you give him, no amount of sex you give him. I don't care if you drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's warm, and listen, No amount of sex you give that man is going to make him change.
No.
Wow.
Man has to decide, he has to make a conscious decision for himself that
Yeah.
he's going to change. Now, you can address, and you should address issues with him,
Mhm.
but you can't change him. And
Mhm.
then once you address those issues, you got to step back. You got to continue to love him and pray and hope that he catches it for himself. But if you're dealing with these matters of the heart, you're dealing with these soul wounds, Tamika, you have to acknowledge that it's there. Number two, you have to make a conscious decision that I need to change, because change doesn't happen automatically. It happens by way of a series of decisions that we make,
Yeah.
right? Putting that down. I'm going to put anger down. I'm going to put unforgiveness down,
Mhm.
right? I'm going to put the knife down, ladies.
Mhm.
Don't
Mhm.
be quick to go
Yes.
get Butch. Okay. Butch is not your friend unless you're cutting food. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, nor are they in the kitchen. They're mighty
Right.
through God, pulling down the strongholds.
Life. Dr. Hightower, I'm so glad that you said that. That's something that I dealt with. You know, I had a really bad anger issues, like
Mm.
really bad anger issues, coming out of my last marriage. And one time, this probably I don't think I've ever even said this piece out loud. Um, I had my daughter Lila, and 6 months after I had her, I found out I was pregnant again. And one of the mothers of the church told my mom that God gave her a vision that, I had Lila, and then there was another little baby in the backseat that was a little boy. I've always wanted a little boy. And I found out I was pregnant, and my husband at the time, I was like, I think we're gonna have another one. And he was like, yeah, we can't have that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And the day before 4th of July, was July 3rd, 2010. It was a Saturday morning. We got in the car. He brought me to this building. I saw all these people outside with picket signs and stuff. He gave me $575. My baby was in the back seat. She was 6 months old. And he told me, he said, go in there and take care of it. Drove off. He said, call me when you finish. And it was that I've never been able to fully release that. And so when I finally got out of that relationship, I was so angry. Because I felt like I missed that. I missed what I know was supposed to happen. And I felt like but I blamed myself because I felt like I wasn't strong enough to say no. You know what I'm saying? And so going into when I met Tracy, it was like I masked my anger for a really long time, And so he met me and he was like, oh, she's so sweet, oh, she's just amazing. And then one time I could not control my anger, and and he was like, I don't think I can do this. And I was like, wait, I can change. But I didn't realize that I hadn't dealt with my anger issues. And even now I'm still at a place where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to, I still have those moments. I'm like, okay, nope, I got to pray. Like Dr. Hightower said, go into prayer, go into meditation, and really learn how to not necessarily cope. Because I think coping is good, but really going into a journey of transforming, right? A transformative journey. And so for me, I've been on that journey of just really wanting to be better, really coming out of that anger, really, truly fully being who I am. And thankfully, with Tracy has just been amazing. I always tell him all the time, are you sure you wasn't there with Jesus sitting at the, at the Last Supper? Maybe he reincarnated John the Baptist. I don't know, but it was so important. I know that God put us together because he knew that I needed someone that was going to really help guide me out of that. And so I said all that to say, a lot of times as women that have been in previous relationships, we carry so much trauma. We carry so many anger issues and heartbreak and everything. And a lot of times it's difficult to go in brand new relationships with just a clean slate, So how do we do that? How do we get to a place where we're able to go into a relationship without, oh, well, you said the same thing my ex said, or you did the same thing, without comparison of our past, but we can fully just genuinely give them a clean slate.
So comparisons are always going to happen because it's instinctive, right?
Yeah.
Because and I won't go deep into this, but this is one of the reasons why I am such a staunch believer on abstaining from sex until marriage, because inevitably you're going to compare your last partner with your current partner.
Yeah.
You know what, Elgin, he did it better than Jacob. He didn't hold me right. You know what I mean? It's just it's going to be an inevitable comparison. So on an emotional level, Tamika, so the comparisons will happen, but see, what you did was you're conscious that comparisons can happen, right? And so again, going first and foremost back to the place of acknowledgement. And I think what you did, even in the initial phase in your relationship with Tracy, when he saw you without that mask, he's like, oh my God. Where did that come from? It was shocking. So then at that moment, since the mask is off, babe, I want to have a conversation with you, because I'm really not that you just saw. And you saw that manifestation. That's really not me. It is a manifestation, but it's really not me. I want to share with you where that came from.
Yeah.
Let me share this really quickly, because I think all of the ladies need to hear this from a male perspective. So Brenda, I was having a conversation, Tamika, I was having a conversation with a lady friend of mine, and there was something that she said, and it immediately, boom, it set me off. Now, I didn't go off on her. I just got quiet. And when she finished talking, I said, can we shift the conversation for a second? What's wrong, G? Why are you so quiet? What's up? Did I say something wrong? I said, yeah, you did. And so I addressed what it was that she said. It was really, really offensive. Now, in her mind, she's just, making a joke. She thought it was cool. Ha, ha, ha. But it hit me in a different place. And so my point is, in that moment, what I did was, instead of going off, because I wanted to go off, I'm like, I know you ain't talking. Shirley. I wanted to go off. But in that moment, I said, no, be swift to hear, slow to. I'm literally having an inward conversation, Tamika, Miss Brenda, having the word, be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Be swift to hear, slow to speak. Because I was ready to pull my sword out, this evil, nasty tongue. I was about to pull this, shing, I will cut your head off, fool. And I was ready to go there. But I'm telling you, the Spirit of God literally held me back, and I just got quiet. And so really addressing any painful issues at that moment, when we have that engagement or when that mask comes off, it's important. Let's have a conversation. Let me tell you where that comes from. Brenda, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is when you said about the that's not me. I'm saying, oh yes, it absolutely is you. The question is it going to stay you? Because I tell people, own your, because what the problem is, we often don't want to own your, own your stuff. Okay, own it. The reality is, Brenda Warren is not always dripping sugar. Sometimes she bumps her head, and past anger, past hurt will come up. That's also Brenda Warren. But the difference is between Brenda Warren that when it comes up now and Brenda Warren 4 years ago that would cut you with this mouth and not even think twice about it. I've done the work that now when that comes up, I can take the pause and ask myself, is that anger that just came up about you or is it about me? Because I think I've shared with you, Dr. Hightower, that when I get offended, I get happy because that tells me I got something to work on. Because if I'm offended, that means you hit a nerve in something that I have not dealt with yet. And I now have the opportunity to adjust my behavior, my thinking and my thought process.
I love
So
that.
I have to acknowledge that I am not always the happy, positive person that people see, and especially in these social media worlds, everybody expects you to be this because we always show our best. Most of us wear a mask on social media, but what would they say if they saw you when the camera wasn't on? Okay, we got to be real and own that I have bad days. I have bad thoughts. I want to cuss a couple folks out and slap a few others.
Right now.
Thank God I don't do that because I have the emotional intelligence and self-control to not act on that thought.
Amen. Very good, Brenda.
You know, and in relationship, when the mask comes off, to me, that's when it gets good. Because when the mask comes off, you begin to be your authentic self, and then you can learn to navigate what does our relationship look like when I don't have on all my makeup, when I'm not all dressed up and looking cute, when I'm just raw, my breath stink, and things ain't the way you thought they're gonna be. I mean, I had somebody tell me, baby, my husband say, you sound like a linebacker. I had sleep apnea. My snoring was bad. He told me if I had known you snore like that girl, I'd have had to think twice. Okay.
Not a linebacker.
Yes. He was upset.
Wow.
Because we definitely did. We didn't do nothing to him. Man, the first night, it was not pretty for him. He couldn't sleep. So you got to know that people are going to find out things about you when the mask comes down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can they still deal with you when the mask is off? That's when the real work happens.
Yeah.
That's when the real work happens. That's when the relationship really, really, really begins to, it's like pouring concrete down into a foundation, right? If the mask is still on, the concrete is still wet. The concrete gets set and it gets hardened and tough, and we can start building on top of it.
Yeah.
Dr. Can I mention one other thing too? For you ladies, listen, because this ain't about the men. This is for the ladies. Although men are doing it too now with all these men weaves. But ladies, take your makeup off. Let them see you what you look like without the layers of lies, okay? You know, because they get to see us with all this stuff. Well, I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I'm like, when I went online dating, I made it a point to take my braids out and show what I look like without all my. I wear my braids because I can work out and go and be cute in a minute.
Right.
But I have hair, you know. But can you deal with me when you just see me with my little afro? What does that look like? No makeup, and I put that on there because if you don't like that part of me, and this is what you like, and you expect this all the time, you're gonna be disappointed. If you take off the makeup and let somebody see who you really are. I've heard so many men say they've been disappointed the way we are now contouring, wearing our weaves and everything, and then all that stuff comes off. The padded bras, the padded butts, everything else. And it's like, come on, keep it real, because there's got to be a point where you love yourself enough to show up as your real authentic self. Right. Because if a man can like you, then when you do all the extra stuff, he's going to like that too.
Oh, wait a minute. So you just said something. Hold up. You just said, we don't even love ourselves, Lord Jesus.
We don't love ourselves. It's like, are you doing it because that's how you like it and that's good? I have a friend right now, been married 17 years. Her husband has never seen her without her makeup. She gets up every morning before him and does all this stuff with these. I'm bad to the bone chick. But baby, I'm telling you, when she took off her makeup, I didn't recognize her. I know why he ain't never seen her, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm saying, can you get to a point where you can love you, just you? Because that's when we take the mask off. Yeah. But how many of us are wearing the mask and we refuse to remove it? And then when it's removed, the person that gets to see us is disappointed because they didn't know that's what was behind the mask. Ooh. Are you pretending to be a woman that can support a man in his purpose when in reality you're a woman that's tearing down his dream?
Exactly.
You know, and for you men, I'm an equal opportunity teacher. For you men, stop letting women that tell you that your dream is stupid. Why? I know she's cute and she got hips and dips, but if a woman doesn't have your vision for your life and doesn't understand that you're going to help that vision come to pass for your family, she's the wrong one for you. Every woman is not for you. She may be a good woman, but she may not be the right good woman for you.
Absolutely. Listen, it's a real serious conversation up front. Yeah. Now, we talked about having those initial conversations. Those are definitely upfront, first date, second date, third date conversations. Oh, absolutely. Because I want to know what I'm working with. because there's no need for us to continue dating because somebody write this down, drop this in the chat. Dating, from a kingdom perspective, dating is for discovery. Dating is for discovery.
Yeah.
Dating is not for mating. Dating ain't for moving in together. Dating ain't for let's see if we going how good our sex is together. No. There's no need for none of those kind of exchanges. And why would you want to have sex with somebody that you're only seeing if you can discover if we are get along together? Why would you want to go have sex with a man you haven't even found out if we're a good fit yet? Yeah. You don't even know anything about them. You don't even know their last name yet. Why would you want to have sex with that person? Why would you want to invite a transference of their spirits into your spirit?
But here's the other part, Dr. Hightower. I always ask women, you know, when we have sex with a man is making a contribution. You're making a commitment because see, he gets up and goes away. He leaves a deposit. He going about his business. But you now are committed. Now, let me see. Did I get my period? Is it so now? If he does nothing else, he done deposited something. It's a contribution for him. It's a commitment for you. See, because once he deposits that, you got to figure out, is your body now going to germinate that thing? And are you going to be having the rest? Because he can go on to the next and the next and next and just keep making deposits. But it's definitely a commitment. And why would you give yourself to a man that is not willing to say, I am willing to be responsible? How many of you would have sex right now with a man if before you did the dirty deed, because you're not married doing it in the first place, and you ask him, hey, if I get pregnant, are you going to take care of it? No, he's not willing to be responsible for what he implants in you, but you're willing to give him the opportunity to do it, not knowing if it's going to germinate. Has made sense to me. So we really have to have those thoughts as our own self, because if we understood our power as women, we keep our legs closed a lot longer. I know I would have.
Absolutely.
We don't. You got the power. You know, wars and all kind of things have been fought over what's between our legs. But we treat it like it's just any old thing, not understanding. And for men, I say your seed is your legacy, your destiny, your everything. And for women, when you're not allowing a man to make that deposit without any return, come on, baby, you selling yourself short. Even Coca-Cola gives you 5 cents for the bottle. What's the point?
Wait a minute. Wait, oh my God. Okay, so you just, oh wow. Okay. So a man makes a contribution, a woman makes a commitment. Lord have mercy. But that's a twofold thing because like you said, a man's seed is his legacy. So men have to be cautious who they are contributing
that to. That's absolutely right.
Because if you are looking to have a long legacy or a lasting legacy or a positive legacy, and you just dipping and diving and contributing to Sheila and Terry and everybody else, well, what does that say about your legacy?
Oh, legacy is raggedy.
Doctor, you talk about purpose partners too, and I just wanted to say this while we're talking, because I saw somebody put something in a comment. I keep hearing ladies say two things. They want to be part of a power couple or the purpose partner, and I'm going, I love it when you talk about that, because I really don't think people have the conversation. What does really a purpose partner mean to the average person? They say that because it sounds cute, but if you don't know your purpose for dating, even, are you dating just to date? Or are you dating for the purpose of finding your life partner? And we talk about power couples. There's lots of power couples. Real power couples to me are those people that are clear about their intentions of what they want to see produced in their marriage. Is it kids, legacy? Is it kingdom building? What are you really doing with that? Right. So I think it's important that we have those conversations too, when you say the what, why, where, and when of why you even want a relationship. And Dr. Hightower, you talked about too, of knowing your why, and not talking about what you don't want, but definitely about what you, because I was one, I don't want this. I don't know. I talked to Dr. Hightower, and ever since then, I've been very cautious and clear about saying what I want, not what I don't want. Because what happens, it's like, you know, if you drive a car, they tell you when you go into an accident, if you skid out of control, don't look at the wall, look to where you want to go. Right. But we're often looking back at Tyrone when we're trying to get with Tracy. Come on now. What's the point? So you got to be clear about where you want to go, head in that direction, know your why. That way, when you do, you will find your purpose partner and not just somebody that's going to play with you.
Right. And Dr. Hightower said it earlier, is when you're in that dating phase, you can't keep verbalizing what it is that you don't want. You have to start verbalizing what it is that you do want. That's a part of manifesting. You know, the more we say, oh, I'm having a bad day, oh, this is terrible, oh, this is happening, the more you're going to reap what you're saying. But when you start saying, you know what, I want a man that has a 6-figure job, I want a man that has his own
Can I
business.
say that's about that too? Only 1% of the population makes 6 figures. Most of the men that's making 6 figures are not sitting home playing with you. So y'all need to get that cleared up, okay? It's not happening. Stop tripping. But Dr. Hightower, I do want to ask you something, though. And I know Tracy here.
Wait, hold up, Miss Brenda. You can't just say it that fast and keep moving. Now, wait a minute. First of all, Miss Brenda, you just got us all together in a span of 3 seconds. Okay, keep going.
No, I keep, every time I hear a woman say I want a 6-figure, I cringe, because it's 1% of the population, and it's a lot of women that are in that 1%. You know, and you got to get clear on. So we're passing up rock solid men. And don't sleep at it. I heard the big thing about the bus drive stuff. I'm not saying lower your standards, but if you want to be with a 6-figure man, are you a 6-figure woman? Meaning, can you birth that man to stay in 6 figures and beyond? Do you know about business? Do you know about how to take care of a household? Can you run things when he's not there? Can you cover him in prayer? Are you prepared to be a 6-figure wife and have the responsibility that come with that? Girl can't boil water. Come on, she want a 6-figure man. Come on, baby, please. Yes, he can buy you a chef, but you should be able to fix that man a meal.
Right.
We got to get out of the fantasy and get into the realm of reality where we can have healthy relationships that are going to be prosperous. And I'm not saying you can marry a man that's a 2-figure man and turn him into a 6-figure man if you're the proper helpmate.
Right. Dr. Hightower. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so going back to the merging of purpose and entanglement, and how entanglements tamper with our purpose. For people that are struggling to find their purpose, right? And they tell us how entanglements affect purpose. Because a lot of people haven't figured out what their purpose is, but they don't understand that, and they're trying, well, why I can't get it? What is hindering it? Why can't they don't realize that hindrance is some version of an entanglement? So can you speak to that for us?
Absolutely. Great question, Tamika. So an entanglement, simply put, is anything that keeps you in bondage and prevents you from moving forward, right? So think about you needing to move somewhere. You have a goal, you have a destiny, you got to get someplace, but you are literally wrapped up with a big, huge rope or a chain that won't let you go forward. Whatever that thing is, and whoever those persons are, that becomes an entanglement, right? So what the scripture tells us in Galatians chapter 5, be not entangled again in bondage, which of course implies, as Paul beautifully states this to the church at Galatia, it's literally telling us that we were all once entangled and Christ came to set us free. So he's like, okay, don't go back and get entangled again in the yoke of bondage, whatever that yoke is, whatever that entanglement is. Now, here it is. Watch this, Tamika. Because our soul, which consists of our mind, our will, and our emotions, because the soul craves familiarity, what happens is, if I'm not flowing in the things that God is leading me into by the Spirit, and that's always going to be the path of purpose, then my soul will pull me back and I can get entangled again in things that are familiar to me, because it's comfortable staying in what's familiar.
Right.
The soul, your flesh, is always going to keep you in this state of comfort and convenience and staying in this place where you are attached to familiar spirits. and it's comfortable. This is what I'm used to. This is why many people stay in abusive relationships. Used to this. And when you become used to something, you don't see yourself deserving better than what you're used to. And so this is where we are functioning at a high level of we're functioning and we're functional people, but we are still in dysfunction. Those are the entanglements that are keeping us from being the better version of ourselves. Those are the entanglements that are keeping us locked in abusive relationships. Those are the entanglements that's keeping us from ultimately fulfilling purpose.
So, Dr. Hightower, you just, oh, wow. So, when you're not, and I'm hoping I'm conveying this properly. If I'm not, please correct me. So, when you're not operating in purpose, it's easy to fall into entanglements.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Because there's no gray area in the realm of the spirit and what God has purposed for our lives. If you are, let's put it on a really basic level, such as athletics. If I'm a professional athlete, I'm either conditioning myself every day to win, or I'm lacking conditioning and I'm going to lose, right? You can see the vast difference in Sha'Carri Richardson from just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She was smoking weed. She was partying. She was drinking. Listen, I've never met the young lady, and I know she was drinking.
Yeah.
I can look at her skin. Her skin was different. Look at her 2 years ago and look at her now. She put in that work. She disciplined herself. She stopped smoking that cigar weed. You know what I mean? And whatever other negative things that she was doing, even her speech is different. Now she speaks on a different positive level. 2 years ago, she was telling everybody off and losing. But boo, you can't be telling people off and you lost the race and you lost every race that you done ran. The Jamaican sister smoked you.
Yeah.
Pull yourself and go sit down somewhere. But it was obvious that she was in pain. So what happened to her? Her mom just passed away.
Yeah.
And so she's dealing with the trauma of having lost her mom. And I'm sure there were other things that happened in that space, right? Fast forward, she's been to counseling. Fast forward, stop drinking. Fast forward, stop smoking weed. Boom. Passing all the blood tests. And they tested her extra to make sure there were no PEDs or any of those things, right? And look at what she did. 2, not 1, but 2 gold medals. And so my point is that transformation happens when we're making a decision to move forward into purpose. If you are not choosing purpose, then yes, it's inevitable, Miss Tamika. You will get entangled in toxic behaviors if you're not pursuing purpose. It's inevitable.
And can I jump in right here? Because I always like to break it down to the basics. A lot of women that I talk to say, Brenda, I said, what do you want? And they'll say, I want to get married. And I say, that's great. And then they'll tell me they're dating a married man. Or they're dating a guy who said, I just want to see what's out there. See, when you are trying, you're not practicing football if you want to play baseball. It's just simple as that. If you say, my goal is to be married, then a man that tells you I have a wife and 3 kids is not a candidate. If you say you want to get married, then a guy that says, I just want to see what's out there, you shouldn't even start. He already told, I'm not marriage minded. And see, what happens is because we have this sense of scarcity, Dr. Hightower said it's 4 billion people. It's not that they're not out there. It's that, are you willing to, in your wait season, wait for the right man to show up? We're often trying to rush it. And then we're not in our purpose when we're having sex with everybody we're dating, because you can't give a person more of what they don't appreciate and make them think that's going to love you. That's not going to happen. And Mama used to tell me, if you can get a milk for free, why buy the cow? That's why you see men be with a woman for 15 years and then break up with her and 6 months later marry somebody else, someone that kept their legs closed. Ladies, we gotta stop playing ourselves cheap. Stop renting yourself out if you want to be bought. Simple as that.
Time out. Wait. Miss Brenda says stop renting yourself out if you're trying to get bought. Lord have mercy on today. Jesus today. Okay, so oh my God, we already been on here an hour and 34 minutes. Okay, we got about 10 more minutes. This is so good. All right, guys. If you guys have questions, go ahead on and put your questions in. We're gonna go ahead on and start transitioning over to our Q&A session because we definitely want Dr. Hightower and Dr. Brenda to be able to answer your questions because they are dropping the nuggets tonight. They are truly dropping the nuggets tonight. So, Dr. Hightower, as we're going into, as we're continuing this conversation about, untangling the entanglements and finding your purpose, one of our audience members says, "My family, I be in entanglements with them." Tristan.
It happens.
We all.
Right. So how do even in those types of entanglements, what
Yes.
are the steps to even, release yourself from always feeling the need to, be the person to take care of everyone, or the one I gotta take care of this person child, I gotta get my sister child, I gotta get my brother child, or I gotta, pay for everybody's bills. How do we transition out of being entangled with our own family members?
That's a great question. So was it Tris? Is that
Yes,
who I
Tris.
saw?
Mm-hmm.
So Tris, three quick things. Number one, it takes courage. It takes courage. It takes courage to change. And so you have to be really courageous and have a made up mind that I am no longer going to allow myself to keep getting pulled into all these negative, toxic situations with regards to my family. You got to have a made up mind. That's number one. Number two, you have to use, Tris, the power of no. No is a complete sentence.
Yes.
And no requires no explanation. Well, Tris, can you come over here and help it? No.
No.
Well, why? We need you. You ain't never said no before. But no. Wow. Okay, but why? But I mean, can you loan us $1,000, Tris? Because we over here, we need some help. No.
No.
But why? No, it's just no. I mean, but can you tell us why though? No.
Right.
And I know I'm making it sound overly simplistic, but I promise you there's power in it. But you got to be 10 toes down when you say no, though. You can't be like, oh, no. No. You can't be a timid no. It has to be a firm no. And you have to be resolute with your no. Okay. Just like if boys pull up and they pull up in a G-Wagon and them jokers stole that G-Wagon, you ain't about to get in it. Hey, man, come on, Trish. Get with us, man. Let's go. We're about to roll out. Roll out. Roll out. No. You're not going to get in it. It's like, no, I ain't getting up in there with y'all. Because if you get in, you're going to prison. You're going to be an accomplice to a GTA, Grand Theft Auto. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be no, right? Trish said they already know I'm not getting in. Yeah. Look, now watch that, Trish. With that same level of conviction, you got to be in that space as it relates to your family. I'm going to give to my family. I love my family. I'm going to give. But as it relates to everything concerning my purpose, I can't let them get me off track. So it's going to be no. So number one, remember it takes courage to change. There can be no effective change unless you're courageous about it. Number two, the power of no. And then number three, make sure that you are making time every day to love on yourself. And part of loving yourself, because this is what's going to strengthen you to continue forward and not allow for the distractions. And when you're loving on yourself, which means I'm taking time in the morning to meditate. I'm taking time in the morning to write down my goals. 3 things I need to write down that I got to get accomplished today, right? Whatever those things are. I'm taking time to just, boom, I'm going to go and just get me a mani and a pedi, whatever. I'm going to go get me a massage. All those things are self-care things. But the simple part is this, making sure that every single day, without fail, that I'm going to block out anything that would distract me for what I got to accomplish. Sometimes that means turning off your phone or leaving it on mute.
Yep.
Some of y'all act like you're gonna die due to asphyxiation if you turn off your phone. Hamburger, are you freaking serious? Listen, there will be nothing great accomplished if you allow for that phone to keep you distracted.
Entangled into the phone.
Tangled to the phone.
You
So
know,
yeah, that's the real simple part regarding family. You got to block them out.
Yeah.
And if they're persistent and they continue to disrespect your time, guess what? I have several of my family members, first cousins, blood relatives. I have several of them right here on Facebook that are a part of my block ministry.
that's why I tell her, Tamika, mine was a lot more simpler than that. I just set clear boundaries, and it took me a while because in our culture, they think when you start making money or coming up, everybody thinks you're supposed to be part of the pot. And I did that for years. But then I just had a conversation with one of my family members after this happened. She called for money to pay her water bill, and I was down to this time I didn't have a lot of money, but I suffered not paying one of my bills because I didn't want her kids in the dark, okay, and not have the milk. So I sent the money to do it. And then I saw on Facebook she had just bought a purse like an hour later. Well, this is what, after that time, I put out a little message to my family. I said, as of this day, I am no longer willing to give money to those of you that mismanage your own. So the bank of Brenda is closed. I set that clear boundary. And the other thing I did for myself, Pastor G, was I set a line item in my budget because there was a time when I realized I had given out in 1 year $33,000 to my family. And I could have paid off my credit cards, but I was so when I did that, I then put a line item in my personal budget that this is how much money I have to give, not loan, because most of them say loan, but they don't pay you back. You know how they do. So I don't give money I can't afford to give away.
Amen.
When I set that clear boundary for myself, number one, it stopped people from calling, because if they call and ask me for money, I'm going to say, you can only have it if you fill out this application. What? And I'm serious. I have an application.
Yeah.
You can go to a bank and get a loan and not fill out an application.
That's right.
My family don't want to do that. The other thing they have to do is they have to take a money management course that I actually developed. If they're willing to do that, then they won't have a need to borrow money from me after this. Most of them say I'm a little extra. But that one thing, setting that boundary and being serious about that, my family rarely asks me for money anymore. And if somebody asks me, I know they really have a need, and they're still going to have to go through them steps. So they know it's going to be like a week-long process before they even get it. And at the end, if it don't make sense, they still won't get it. And I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
Because I had to become clear, because I worked hard for what I got, and they could have done the same thing. But when you are borrowing, most family members are, one family member actually told me they put me in their budget. I didn't even realize it was so. Every month they call me when they know I got my pension check because I was in the military, and they would call me and just talk. Well, Brenda, you got about $50 you can loan me? I always send 100 because they might need a little extra. Right. And when I finally figured it out, they started laughing and said, I knew one day you figured it out. I guess I got to take you out my budget.
Oh,
that's what family will do for you. Wow. So you got to have some boundaries, stick to your boundaries. And if you have a protocol for how people can borrow money from you and everybody knows it and make it not so easy, they won't bother you no more.
That's right. Wow. Well, guys, listen. Trish said I was called fake and not supportive when I said, if you got a business plan, I'll invest. We're going to have to pray for my folks. Miss Jackie said the Bank of Jackie is closed.
Way to go, Jackie. Woohoo!
Listen, I'm going to help a few people out, Miss Tamika, Miss Brenda. Listen, for those, because I saw Trish says, it gets so hard. They are so persistent. Yeah. I got it. I got you. I'm going to help you out. We're going to keep it ultra simplistic. All right. The next time they call, you don't even have to answer the phone. When you answer the phone, all you have to do is just put this nice little recording on. They say, hey, can I borrow some money? Hey, can I borrow your car? Hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Whatever. All you got to do is put this on right here. There you go.
And play it again, Dr. Hightower. Play it one more time. So for the people that you listen, if your family members are calling you, they begging you, your exes, your booze, go ahead and tell them what to say.
Listen, if they're calling you and want to ask for stuff and they want to keep coming over and all that. There you go.
Yes.
Oh, I needed this laugh, Dr. H. Thank you. Thank you, Tamika. I needed this today.
man. Well, listen, please let everyone know how they can get in contact with you. I know, Dr. Hightower, you have your purpose and your entanglement coaching. So anyone who is interested in getting in contact with you, Dr. Hightower, please give us your information. It'll be right here on the screen, but can you please let us know what's the best way to contact you?
Yes, ma'am. You have it right there. The Entanglement Coach, boom, on Facebook and on Instagram, bam. And then also my calendar link. You can go there and book a session. There was a couple of people that sent me back channel messages that you would like to book a session with me. Thank you. I'm honored. And yes, I will be glad to serve you. There's my calendar link right there. The Entanglement Coach, boom, click that link and go to Purpose Discovery Call. Just hit Purpose Discovery Call. If you're in a relationship or you're trying to get into a new relationship, if you're trying to get in one, then hit Singles Discovery Call. All right. But make sure you're single, because that is part of my assessment. I'm going to evaluate if you're really single. Okay. Or if you just left your husband and you ain't seen him in 2 years.
Oh.
Okay. If you just left your wife and you ain't hollered at her in a minute. You know what I mean? If you haven't gone through the divorce yet, you are not single, sir. You are not single, ma'am. Love you, mean it, but you're not single.
You're not single. Miss Brenda, please tell us exactly how we can get in contact with you. I have your website here, but please let us know from you if there are any other avenues to contact you.
Yeah, they can send an email through my website, or they can DM me on IG at Brenda the Solutionist.
Absolutely. You all are phenomenal. Oh my God. What an amazing session we've had on today. Trish said, I got you, Unc. I appreciate it, for real. About to follow both guests. Absolutely. Listen, guys, if you are on here, please make sure that you go and follow them on their social media platforms. If you are looking for a solutionist, reach out to Miss Brenda. If you are looking for an entanglement and a purpose coach, reach out to Dr. Hightower. Listen, you do not have to continue living in darkness. You do not have to continue living purposeless. You do not have to continue living entangled. You have a way out, and God has given us some phenomenal coaches to help you get exactly where you're going. Because listen, honey, if we're going to do this thing called life, we might as well do it well. This is your girl, Tamika with the Y, coming to you with another new, let me start it over. Rewind. This is your girl, Tamika with the Y, coming to you from the newest and hottest podcast, the Tamika with the Y podcast show. And I have to give a huge shout out to our partners. First, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Iyanu Organics. Please make sure you go and follow them on all social media platforms. If you are looking for an organic hair care brand, reach out to Iyanu Organics. The website is right there at the bottom, www.iyanu-organics.com. Want to give a huge shout out to our partner, Vibranium Consultants. If you are looking for business consultation, you need a website, you need marketing material, you need business credit information, reach out to Vibranium Consultants and they will be able to accommodate you accordingly. Also, we have Curry Brothers Publishing. If you are looking for a publishing company for your book, this is a Black-owned brand publishing company, and they are phenomenal out of Nashville and Washington, D.C. Please reach out to them. And lastly, if you are looking for party rentals in the Memphis, Tennessee area, make sure you reach out to Inflatable Clubhouse. Their clubhouse is amazing. It comes with laser light shows, fog machine, light up speakers, all of that. So make sure you reach out to them today. We want to give a huge shout out to our guest, Dr. G. Hightower, the America's favorite entanglement and purpose coach. And I want to give a huge shout out to Miss Brenda, honey, the solutionist, who has came up in here and got us all together. All right. So y'all stop going at that talking about y'all want a six-figure man. Just find you a purpose man. All right. Like Dr. Hightower said, we ain't looking for good ideas. We're looking for God ideas. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So again, thank you all so very much. Thank you to all of our guests and our audience members that have been in the audience. Again, don't forget to go follow, tag, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, smooches and deuces. I love you guys so very much. Thank you again, Dr. Hightower. Thank you again,
Miss Brenda. I want to call you Dr. Brenda.
Brenda.
Yes. But thank you all so much. And we got to do this again. So you guys, look, I already booked Dr. Hightower. We got him once a month. Miss Brenda, I got to get you on here as well. So please, I'll be reaching out to you so that we can schedule a call with you as well. I would love for you to come on and just share more of your expertise and what you do with our guests, because Dr. Hightower is getting us together. And Miss Brenda, we invite you to get us together too. All right, guys. Have a beautiful evening. God bless. Goodbye.
Hey, Miss Brenda.
Hey, it's still live, so I wasn't sure if she does the guest afterwards. I'm gonna call her off.
I think we are just in the studio. I think we're just in the back studio.
No, it says live up there, so I'm going to leave.
It is still live. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Let's get out of here. Oh, my God. God bless you.